In this episode, we're tearing down a KTM 390 engine that took a little swim. Let's pop the valve cover off first. Look at this bolt, it's already completely rusted. Actually, swimming isn't the right word, more like deep-sea diving. They always say you buy a big single-cylinder KTM to conquer mountains. But look at this one conquered a ditch. There's a bit of wear here where the camshaft caps clamp down. Nothing major, though. Now check out this golden camshaft. Look at that glittering gold. I wonder how much I could sell it for as a souvenir. Yeah, the rocker arms look fine. Let's look at the intake camshaft. Disappointing, this one didn't turn to gold. Well, structural integrity-wise, both camshafts are actually fine. This KTM engine must have been repaired before. Look at the cylinder bore. It's got some scoring. This cylinder has already been re-sleeved. It's no longer the original factory ceramic-coated cylinder. The condition of the piston itself is actually quite good. These pistons cost over 800 renminbi a piece. Replacing it hurts the wallet. See what happens when a dive goes wrong? The connecting rod is completely seized up. An engine meant to run underwater is called an outboard motor. Honestly, buddy, with this KTM, were you trying to compete with boat engines for sound? Let's crack open the clutch cover and see the water damage inside. Internal rust is always the absolute worst nightmare. Look at this. These oil passages will all need to be thoroughly cleaned out later. Since you've watched this far, smash that like button and hit follow, my friends. There are a lot more steel components in here. Let's inspect the clutch plates and steel drive plates. See that? It's completely covered in rust inside. The clutch pressure plate is rusted up, and so is the inside of the clutch hub. This part almost had that golden glitter too. Instead, it's just covered in rust spots. Time to bring out the lollipop tool. I actually used to use this holder tool to tear down airplanes. Let's look at the clutch basket. Just look at how rusted out this is. This is going to need a serious session in the ultrasonic cleaner. For light rust removal like this, we'll use an electrolytic bath. Once the electrolysis handles the rust, we'll run it through the ultrasonic cleaner. We absolutely cannot leave any rust inside. If rust flakes get loose and clog the oil galleys, we're in deep trouble. Look at this magnet. Would you look at the rust inside this flywheel rotor? I almost couldn't pull this flywheel off. Every bit of this rust must be removed. KTM engines have tons of these tiny oil jets. If you miss even one and it gets clogged, it's game over. Just look at this. Is it even salvageable? KTM's oil galley design is incredibly complex. You can pretty much find micro oil jets. Little oil squirting nozzles, everywhere. Yeah, the oil nozzles. The main oil galleys will definitely need to be cleared out piece by piece. It's going to take some extra time. I've rebuilt so many singles. But this specific single-cylinder engine is a massive pain to work on. Honestly, I think the BMW 310 engine is easier to rebuild than this. Splitting the crankcases now. Let's see what's inside. What the? Is that seaweed growing in there or something? What is this black gunk? When did that even get in here? Pulling out the shift fork shaft. Let's check the transmission gears. This shift drum needs rust removal too. Fortunately, the gears aren't rusted completely solid. They still spin relatively smoothly. It's just surface rust. These bearings probably need to be replaced. We'll see after they come out of the ultrasonic cleaner. If the bearing races are smooth and clean, they might be fine. Then we won't have to swap them. The counterbalance shaft bearing. Looks like it should be fine. It spins without any grittiness. Look at the crankshaft journal, it's scored. Scored bad. The bearing shell doesn't even want to come off. For this, we'll grind it down. And match it with oversized bearings. The factory ones are aluminum tin alloy anyway. As for replacing the whole crank, we'll have to see if the owner is willing to pay for it. The connecting rod journal is burnt pitch black. But it's not out of round, so it's still usable. Rust removal done, followed by a thorough ultrasonic cleaning. Look at that shine, everyone. Doesn't this look way more satisfying? And the crankshaft has been fully restored. The next segment will cover the assembly process. Take a look at this repaired crankshaft. Beautiful, isn't it? Though looking pretty means nothing. Durability is what actually matters. This uses a high-tin aluminum alloy bearing shell. Custom copper lead ones are too expensive to make. So we had to settle for custom making these. Picking up from the previous teardown video, we are now assembling this flooded KTM 390 engine. First was the electrolytic rust removal, followed by the ultrasonic cleaning. For the crank, we ground down the journal and matched the bearings, using 0.50mm oversized ones. Buying a brand new crankshaft is just way too expensive. A new crank for this single cylinder costs over 2,000 renminbi. Who could stomach that? Then again, this bike costs over 50,000 renminbi new. So parts are bound to be a bit pricey. Otherwise, how else would it show it's worth 50,000 grand? The ultrasonic cleaner completely stripped the carbon buildup off the piston. The cylinder has been fitted with a fresh sleeve. Oh, by the way, regarding the electrolytic rust removal I just mentioned. To my fellow mechanics out there, if you use electrolysis for rust removal as well, you have to time it perfectly. Otherwise, it can actually cause the metal to rust even faster afterward, torquing down the cylinder head bolts. Personally, right after rust removal, I throw them straight into the ultrasonic cleaner, because the ultrasonic cleaning solution is slightly alkaline. So it neutralizes the reaction. As for the torque specs here, torque them down tightly. For this KTM 390 engine, I highly recommend using a higher viscosity engine oil. And it absolutely must be a full synthetic. The component clearances on this thing are honestly quite massive. The clutch steel plates are also completely done with rust removal. During my measurements on the bench, I noticed, compared to typical Japanese engines, the clearances are significantly wider. But you can't strictly follow its factory service manual. The clearance standards written in the service manual, in my personal opinion, are inaccurate. Because if you buy brand new factory parts and measure them right out of the box, you'll realize the specs don't match what's written at all. Yet, once assembled, everything runs flawlessly. So just keep an eye on your oil weight, guys. Stick to a heavier viscosity. Alright, since you've watched all the way through, give us a like and drop a follow, my friends. The threads were stripped, so I'm installing a thread insert. The owner mentioned it had been stripped before, no big deal. Putting the valve cover back on. The owner also sent over a video of the first start. I'll let you guys hear it in a moment. Let's do a compression test first. This engine has an automatic decompression valve, so anything over 6 kilograms is considered normal. Let's listen to it. The sound of a big single is pretty much identical to a tractor.